Well, Trans Youth, it has been a very, very busy week for us here, and I also want to thank all of our viewers for such amazing feedback that we did get from both of our surveys, in addition to the comments on all of our videos. I want to thank you very much for all of the work that you put into Trans Youth as a viewer, and I want to thank all of our bloggers for their wondrous contributions in rolling out all of this stuff that we have here on Trans Youth channel. If you are not aware, we have released a lot of different things, including our Tumblr, link in the description, which is going to allow us to connect with our viewers a lot easier. We've also released brand new positions right here on Trans Youth channel, and if you do want a little bit of an inquiry there, simply email us at transyouthchannel@gmail.com or look at our descriptions on Tumblr. We have also made our Wednesday position and Saturday position a revolving position, not just for transsexuals, but also for the transgender umbrella as a whole. So if you're interested in being a vlogger for the Trans Umbrella Day on Wednesdays, feel free to send your application to transyouthchannel@gmail.com. And that goes exactly the same for our Saturday position, which is going to be revolved for people over the age of 26 and still transitioning. Now, I certainly hope that you guys all love all of our changes. We wanted to make the channel far more inclusive because not only are we offering youth a perspective on older individuals, we're offering youth a perspective on what they may actually end up identifying as. And as I am saying that, I do want to let you all know that we are looking at all of your results and all of your suggestions to both of the surveys down below, and we are going to make gradual steps toward that direction so that our viewers, as well as our bloggers, get the best that they can out of Trans Youth channel. The great thing about Trans Youth channel, and the greatest thing I learned about making this organization, is that I learned more about our viewers. And I want to demonstrate this very important element, and that most of our members collectively are not completely out. While many of us are out, and it's the largest percentage of those who are watching Trans Youth channel, it's important to recognize that the sole percentage of those who are not out to their family, their friends, out online, or other circumstances make up a vast majority of our population. And being on YouTube, being where all of those people just beginning their transition are able to research, is very vital and important because we feel we are producing good information and we want to have that experience. So if you yourself are one of those people, who's not completely out yet, that is what this week's topic is on. After all of the busy stuff that we did last week, a little bit more on the fun side, on the lenient side for our vloggers, the topic today is what would you suggest as an agenda for people who are transitioning over the course of the next 10 years? So I always appreciate a speculation question because it forces me to think about what I would have done and what I do suggest other people do. But I do just real quick want to throw in a disclaimer saying that this right here is not an agenda that you have to follow, and it's not something that I necessarily advise you personally do. It's just something that I say as a general guideline. This is how it should probably work and this is what you should look out for. I actually spent a large amount of my time thinking about it. And the number one thing that I did have to do is analyze my dysphoria. And I spent a good amount of time doing that. Actually, much of my high school years. I spent at least 4 years kind of looking at why I felt wrong. And it took me all 4 of those years to find out that it was my gender. So step 1, analyzing your dysphoria. How big of a deal it is, how much of an extent it is. Step 2 to all of this is research. Research. And I am a strong advocate of this because I personally, as well as all of us here on Trans Youth channel, are one source of information. And we may have wrong information. We may not have the best information, but we have information that is worth looking into for you. When it comes to other resources, you may find a lot more help in looking at doctor's assignments for how exactly hormones work. My next stage in my life, after I did all that research and thought about what was going to happen, is I looked at my realities. So that's number 3. Look at your family circumstances. Look at what you want to do and look at if transition is something that you'll have to hold off or something that you can jump out of the gates with. Look at what exactly needs to be done. Look at what you're willing to miss and what you're willing to lose. And then look at the realities of what does happen to a lot of trans people. YouTube is one of the greatest places to do this part, because this is one of the best places to get personal stories of other trans people, both good and incredibly successful, as well as bad and in many cases harsh to survive. Third is finding your professionals. Find the therapist, find the doctor, find the surgeon, find all of the people that you like. And this will take a long period of time. You have the therapist first, who is supposed to be helping you figure out if this is exactly what you want to do by asking those critical questions, such as, where did your dysphoria come from? What exactly are you hoping to make better in your life? Where do you plan to be when you're 50? All of these questions are critical and incredibly important to transition. 2, the doctor needs to be knowledgeable, and not necessarily completely knowledgeable about hormones, but knowledgeable enough to say when something is too much. You should have a doctor looking over your shoulder for hormones and things like that to ensure that you are maintaining health, because transition should not become unhealthy for your body so that your mind can keep things in line. It needs to keep both your mind and body healthy. And lastly, we talk about all of that stuff wrapped up into one for the next 10 years. None of this disappears. You are trans for life. And that is not something that you should take solace in. It is something that you should be proud of, because you as a person managed to take this part of you and move forward with it. You are trans for life. Yes, you can still be stealth. Yes, you are a woman. Yes, there is a possibility to live as a full-fledged woman in the future. But the fact is, you still went through all of these interactions. You still went through these changes. And because of that, you yourself have been changed, not just your body, but mentally. You've gone through the doctors, the surgeons, the thoughts, and everything, and they're still there. You'll be looking at your gynecologist or whatever other doctor you have to make sure your hormone regimens are okay as you age. And a therapist doesn't need to be there just for those 3 months to get your letter. It can be there for the stability of your mind in everything that you go through. So all in all, this very long video, I do want to thank you all for the next 10 years of Trans Youth Channel, and I hope that this has helped as a bit of an agenda. And this is something that I just personally reference as guidelines to look at it. That's it for Trans Youth Channel. I certainly hope you guys join us on Tumblr. Once again, feel free to apply for Trans Youth Channel. We have non-video positions as well now that we are an organization. Feel free to let us know if you're interested in those. Toss those right there in the description for you to read, or on our Tumblr, we'll have a post about it. And I do want to thank you very much for looking at Trans Youth Channel now, and I certainly hope that you will stay with us as we grow. Bye, guys.